Hey guys, and welcome back to Cultured Boys, a show where two guys just want to have a chat. I'm Nathan, and as always, I'm joined by Pepe. And this week, we are exploring another anime that Pepe recommended to me. This time, though, not nearly as long as the others.
Yeah. Yeah. God, yeah. I feel like every time I recommend you something, it's like a good few seasons at least.
Yes. Also, normally it's like within a decade.
Yes.
It gets close to being like recommended to you like a decade ago. This, luckily, has only been a couple of years. So,
Yes.
quite fresh on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Life Lessons with Uramichi Oniisan.
Yes. So, I don't know if anyone's ever watched Uramichi and Oniisan before, but it was like a comedy series which blew up back in 2021, and like it's one of those ones you always see clipped out like as little segments, because it's like, what the hell was this anime? And it's just obvious. There's a lot. One thing about this series is there's a lot of self-deprecating humor in it. I'll say that for sure.
Yes.
But we'll get into more of that as the episode goes on. Nathan, do you want to give the breakdown of what Uramichi Oniisan is?
Yes. So, Life Lessons with Uramichi Oniisan, created by Gaku Kuze, published by Ichi Jinsha, published in Comic Pool, May 12th, 2017 to present, 11 volumes at time of recording, animated by Studio Blank, aired July 6th, 2021 to September 28th, 2021, 13 episodes. Being an adult is hard. For 31-year-old Uramichi Omata, that depressing truth weighs on him. While on TV, he's an upbeat exercise instructor for a children's show, but sometimes he can't keep his sardonic comments to himself. Even his co-workers, a pair of mascots and a singing duo, keep revealing the plight of adulthood on air. Regardless, they're working through it one day at a time. Thank you, Crunchyroll.
Right, yeah. I mean, it sums up the series perfectly, to be fair.
Yeah.
Only 13 episodes of this, though, which I'm a little... I could do with some more Uramichi Oniisan content, I'm not going to lie to you.
I could do with some more. However,
Yes.
13 episodes did feel like quite a lot.
Honestly, I think I've rewatched this series like at least like 3 or 4 times now. Because it's like you said, it's 13 episodes, so it's quite an easy one to go through. And also, it's something you don't need to pay a whole lot of attention to either. Like, apart from this episode where you kind of like, for us anyway, I feel like I wanted to like make sure that I'm honing in on it. I've like obviously seen it before, but been maybe like a year or so since I've watched it. Or even then, I might have made it halfway through the series and I might have switched to something else. But with this series, it's like loads of little sketches within one episode, and like, but they all kind of follow a very similar theme, I'd say.
Yeah.
Or like one sketch might carry over to another. But one episode is usually a whole overarching story, and like as the series goes on, certain characters pop up which are more regular into the series. So it's like, standard like series stuff, character introductions, etc. And then you just get to learn a bit more of the characters as the story goes on. So yes, there is slight overarching story elements throughout the whole series, but more often not, it's a lot of these smaller sketches in one 20-minute episode.
See, it's the several sketches in one episode that led me to say 13 episodes felt like a lot. When I watched the first episode, I actually had to take several day break before I went back because I was just like, that felt like I had watched like 6 episodes.
I'll tell you what it is. It's kind of, you kind of see a similar thing when Psyche K first started as well. That was a very similar thing where Psyche K actually used to only have 3-minute episodes when it first, like this was back in 2017, 2016. So it didn't actually have like actual full episodes at all. And then eventually the series, like they basically compiled them all and it became a series. And you kind of see that thing quite a lot with some comedy manga being adapted these days.
Yeah, to be fair, Way of the House Husbands like that.
Yeah.
I think that it used to have, I think it started with like 2 sort of sketches or
Yeah.
like things per episode, and then like as it went on, it started like a few more here, like 3, and I think sometimes like 3 or 4. But like it's quite common. But it was just, I think this one specifically,
Yes.
the whiplash of "Hey kids, gather round together with my mom," and then it's like, "Kill me, life sucks.
Yeah.
I don't want to live this existence anymore. It's all pain and suffering."
It's so bad when like I think when I watched this like 2021, so I'm like I wasn't in my 30s just yet, but I was closely approaching them. And then watching this now, where you're actually roughly the same age as those characters,
Yeah.
I think certain things I'm like, fucking hell, that kind of hits. That hits different watching it when you're the same age as them.
Well, I mean, that's the worst thing is like Uramachi's 31, as
Yeah.
we're in the
Yeah.
in the breakdown, and I'm like, that explains why I vibe with a lot of the Sardonic comments.
There's certain bits which are like, fam, I relate so hard to this. There's certain bits where it's like, don't get me wrong, I don't hate my job that much. Like some of the things they say, that I'm like, oh damn.
Yeah,
okay.
I also don't hate my job that much.
But there's certain things which come down to it, and you're like, I think it's relatable workplace stuff as well. It's just because they work on a TV show doesn't mean that the content isn't relatable, because like everyone's had that one boss that is like, hey, do this. Wait, no, you're doing that wrong. Do it differently. And in this case, it's the director who's always like, "Hey, you know what? I feel like we need to film this this summer song in the middle of winter." And I think it's like,
And we should film this Christmas song in the butt crack of summer.
yeah. And everything the director does is just obviously like over demanding, like so much.
Yeah. See, the one thing, and I think it's from episode 1, that always stuck with me was Uramichi Oniisan, my parents are married and are 30. How come you're alone? It's like, not everybody who's 30 and alone is sad. Just because I like to stay up late and watch trashy TV late at night doesn't mean I'm unhappy. This is like raw.
Yeah. But the thing is, when Uramichi gives all this like this breakdown, he always has like this deadpan face. Like they animate it so he's like clearly just dead behind the eyes when he says half of it as well.
It's the deadpan, and then it's like it's the colorful set slowly gets like dark,
Yeah.
and it's just like futile existence.
It's also like, it's the relatability of the kids as well. Because you know, like kids will just come out with some mad shit every now and then.
Oh yeah, they'll say the most nuts things, and you're like, what? Where did you even learn that?
Well, I think one of my favorite bits of like just the kids in general was when I think it's Kumatani and Usahara. No, it's because Kumatani's ill, Usahara has to take his spot.
Oh yeah.
And the kid's just like,
He's taller. He's not the same.
yeah, something's really unlikable about Kumatani today. And it's like, fucking hell. But they kind of got that like, like again, it's that look where like they've got the glowing eyes and it's dark in the background. It's like,
Yeah.
something's up with Kumatani. Something's. I think some of the best humor comes from like all those moments that Usahara and Kumatani bit.
Who's your favorite character?
I think it's a tough one because I have a lot of like favorable things for other characters. Like I do really like Kumatani because he's deadpan for one, but then he also has like he's one of the only characters that actually has quite a fleshed out backstory as well. But like I love the humor of like all all of them as a whole ensemble. Like they all like play off each other really well. What about you? What do you have a favorite?
My favorite is Ikiteru.
Okay, yeah.
Because when he gets set off, like it's just such a good performance.
Yeah.
Just normally Ikiteru is just like this airhead. He doesn't even do or really say much.
Nah.
But then they'll say something and he'll be like chin, and then he'll be like Sumasen.
Did you watch this in sub then?
Yeah.
Ah, okay, interesting. Okay, yeah, because I've never actually watched the sub of this anime. I've only watched the dub.
The sub performance when Ikiteru gets set off is so good because a lot of the times it's like every other background sound gets cut.
Yeah.
It's just silence and it's just him like breaking down and like it's just really, really funny.
Yeah, those are always the scenes that I saw when before I watched this anime. I'd always get that clipped out moment of like obviously I saw the dub of it, so it's a little bit different.
I watched episode 1 with a friend and they
Yeah.
said, "Oh, I've seen this clip before." They were like, "Yeah, I saw this online."
Yeah.
And even I think I've seen a clip of it before.
Yeah.
I just didn't realize what it was.
It's just such a relatable thing though, because there is like that childish humor inside of you, which where you like what is it, Dick Feynman, I think is in the dub, that's what
Yeah.
they say. Have you heard of Richard Feynman? Dick
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
It was this is like Richard, he's like Dick. His nickname was Dick.
Yeah. And it's even better when you see Uramichi just like getting closer and closer to him and just saying Dick. And he just like just bursts out. Yeah.
It was like one of the later episodes where like in the subtitles it was like Ikiteru was saying to Otano like, "Yeah, Uramachi Oniisan has been harassing me like this recently." And it's just like he comes over and just says something and you see something in quotation marks
Yeah.
and it just set him off because he likes like toilet humor and shit.
It's just the one like just throwaway comment. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the fact that they chose the word harass.
Yeah. Ah, okay. Yeah.
It was just I was like, oh my god. I mean, I guess in a way it is, but it was also just the way he just so straight faced, also whilst breaking down, like, yeah, he's been harassing me like that recently.
It's always the face in the hands kind of thing, because obviously he's trying to stifle this laughter as much as possible. But it's always just like it's like you said, the performance is always just like it's as if he actually is just like breaking down, like trying to stifle it.
It really is. And then it's just every other character being like, oh, for God's sake, shut the fuck up. He's still breaking down. He's like, sumasen.
Yes, yeah. Like, as a comedy series as well, I know sometimes it's really hard for you to get into these kind of things. How did you find it? So did you watch the whole 13 episodes?
Yeah, I watched everything.
Yeah.
And it's pretty good. I mean, it's the same for me with a lot of comedy stuff. There's sometimes you chuckle, there's sometimes you do that sort of like breathe out kind of laugh where you didn't actually really laugh or make a sound, but like you thought it was funny, so you breathed out,
Yeah.
I still enjoyed it. I will say though, first sketch, episode 1, I was like, I can 100% understand why this is a Pepe comedy. I was even saying it to my friend. I was like, that first joke, and we're both like, whoa, what did he just say?
Yeah.
What did he just say on TV in front of a bunch of kids?
Yeah.
And I immediately was like, that makes so much sense why my friend would recommend this to me. I was like, this is 100% his kind of humor. He loves this kind of shit.
Yeah. There's like so much in it. I think the first sketch and like the first episode just sets the precedent for the whole series as well.
Yeah.
I think it like it tells you what it's about, and it continues with that humor the whole time. And it's like even just seeing Uramichi just put into like all of these different situations, like and somewhere he handles it really well, and then others where he's like nope, I don't like this whatsoever. It's always like him interacting with the merchandise guy, which I feel was
yeah. I was about to say it's after he does the drawing and he's like, yeah, this thing haunts my nightmares often. I see him almost every day in my nightmares. And then they turn it into merch. And he's trying to be like, it's not cute, right? Somebody agree with me so we can get rid of this thing. And he like goes on the air like, hey kids, isn't this scary? Don't you hate it? And they're like, there's something about it I don't like, but I also really like it.
Yeah. And then it just turns into this thing where like they make puppets out of it, and then it's like
oh mate, with the Usahara, like, what does a man whose hobby is only bodybuilding, what other hobbies does he have?
It's so funny that Usaharu always chants it so much, then he just gets like immediately terrified of Uramichi like straight away.
But then, like, that's also what kind of didn't make sense to me after a while was like, he's like, God, I hate that guy. Man, that guy sucks. And then it's like, oh, he's gonna quit. No, Uramachi Oniisan.
Yeah, it's it's kind of like a as the series goes on, it gives you more of that character development. Even like giving all of them the backstory is like quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they were in the same gymnastics, but like, you know, it's still kind of like, well, he hates him so much in the first half of the
Yeah.
of the episodes, and then all of a sudden he's like, no, but I do like him though. He's my friend.
Yeah.
But you know when it's just like in the first like 5-6 episodes that I didn't believe that you liked him at all.
Yeah, it's a tough one because, like, I think there's such few episodes in that series. And bear in mind, like, as I don't know much about how it was published, really, apart from what you said before. Like, I've never heard of Comic Pool before. Like, I don't know what they're...
I haven't heard of Ichijinsha either.
Yeah, it's like one of those ones where I've never really heard of it, so I don't know what their publishing schedule's like. Is it like... If it is in a magazine, is it like just a few pages in the back of it or something like that? And
Don't know.
if there's only 11 volumes out right now, like what is the crack with that? So and how much they adapt from it as well. But in those 12 to 13 episodes, it does feel like some of that backstory is kind of like rushed in a little bit, like just so they can like have something for the season finale.
I think that's the other thing I didn't like is a lot of it comes a bit too late.
Yeah, it feels that they know they're coming to the end of the season, so they need to have like a climax for it or something. Like that's where they start throwing in the more serious story, and it's like, oh, here's their backstory of what they did, and then like you see little moments of all the other characters popping up in that backstory, but they didn't know them yet, and all this kind of bit. And it's like, oh, okay, fair, it's interesting, but some of it feels like they did it for the purpose of the series ending, and they probably didn't want it to just end on a random episode.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, let's give it... And like, even the last episode, I think... The last episode I didn't actually find that funny because it felt like they're trying to find like a gag to be like, oh, it's the series finale, so someone's got to have like this life-changing thing, right?
Well, that's the thing is that the gag was that it's a series finale for the series finale.
Yeah.
So they were just doing lots of like series finale tropes.
Yeah.
But then it's not actually, and it doesn't ever play out the way that they normally would. And I'm like, I kind of get it, but is that the best gag you could come up with to like end on?
I think when you have a whole series of self-deprecating humor and like which I think is absolutely hilarious, and like even putting these characters into certain situations, I think there's so many great moments there. But in those last 2 episodes, it feels like they wrote these for the sole purpose. Or like, bear in mind, again, it might be in the manga, so it might be a little bit different. I don't know exactly. But all of this feels like written for the sole purpose of ending the series on the season 1.
Yeah.
And like, just like, oh, here's the climax, rather than, oh, it's just a gag that like, it's not the most well written, in my opinion. It's done for a purpose rather than an actual setup, which is understandable. But like, when you've got a good series full of great jokes so far, it feels like it just misses so badly.
Yeah, it did fall flat, like real bad.
Yeah. To what you said as well about taking a break between the first episode and then you picked up again like a few days after. I can understand what you mean with that as well, because at times I did feel like I'll watch 3 episodes and then I'll be like, okay, I need a bit of a break now. I want to do something else, because I find myself being distracted by something. I think it is a really good series and the humor is great in it, but I think it's one of those that works really well in bits. And like, I feel like binging this, if like you did watch the whole 12, 13 episodes even back to back, I don't think you're going to get the most enjoyment out of it. I think it's one of those ones where you take your time with it and be like, oh, I've got nothing to do, I'll put an episode of this on, and you laugh for like about 20 minutes, be like, okay, cool, that's cool, I'll do something else. Like, I think that probably works the best for this series. I don't think it works best binging. And this is like, again, I think is a great comedy series, but it's how you watch it which I feel affects what you think of the series personally.
I think you're right, because the rest of it I did watch almost in one really big chunk, but I was also doing other stuff at the time, so it was like on in the background. I was still paying attention, but like it wasn't my main focus. And I think the reason I needed that break is because like when you do focus on it, it is bombardment.
Yeah.
Especially episode 1 where it goes in like really hard to like sell you what this series is about. And episode 1 is like a good showing of what this series has for comedy and gags, but it is also just like in that 20 minutes, I thought I watched like 5 episodes.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah.
I also didn't realize it was 20 minutes. I was like, after it finished, I went to my friend. I was like, "Oh, that was quite long, isn't it?" And I was like, how long has it been? It feels like we've been watching this for like an hour. It was just that much like whiplash bombardment.
There's a lot of content in it, and it is very quick cuts. And it's the same way, I want to kind of pitch this in the same way that like a sketch show would be. Because like, I'm going to compare it to like all the BBC One and BBC Two sketch shows we used to get back in the day.
Yeah.
Like Mitchell and Weblock or like Armstrong and Miller and all those kind of ones. Because like with sketch shows as well, you're always going to have a sketch which like goes like really well. It's a really powerful sketch.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's surrounded by ones which aren't as good. They're still funny, but they're not as good as that one sketch. You're like, oh, and even now to this day, you'll find certain sketches from those like from decades ago up on Instagram because that's the one moment.
Yeah.
That's that 3-minute segment which did really well. And you'll watch it and be like, hey, that's funny. Maybe I'll check out this show. And then you realize, oh wait, all the stuff around the show probably isn't as good as that one sketch you saw because it is like it's one of the best sketches. You've immediately seen one of the best sketches.
Yeah.
And I think that's like to its detriment, but also to its like it helps it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I still think there's like some brilliant moments in the whole series. I still think all the summer and winter songs are great in it as well. I think those are some of my favorite moments. Like just hearing some of the songs that they sing as well, just to the kids, and like the subjects of them are absolutely bizarre. And if I'd like if I was watching a TV show and the presenters were singing about this one time they got a free sample, but when they got home the free sample wasn't that good, I'd be like, what? It's those kind of songs which are like really good, like, and that's like obviously credit to the writers and obviously the voice actors of Iketeru and Utado because they're just singing like some madness.
Yeah. Oh man, it is. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sitting here thinking like it's kind of a shame there's not a season 2, but at the same time I'm also kind of like, would I be disappointed still if there never was one? I don't know. I'm kind of like either way about it.
I would like to see a season 2.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you know,
I'm the one that's recommended to you this to you. Of course, I'm going to say it, but it's just going to be more of the same thing.
Yeah,
which is kind of what you'd want from it. So if you'd only really want a season 2 of it, if you know you really loved season 1, because season 2 really wouldn't be too different. Like,
no,
in a normal anime where you have an overarching story, it's led by arcs and certain plot devices, whereas this is just more and more gags.
That's kind of why it's surprising that, like, not only is it 11 volumes, but, like, it's still ongoing.
Yeah, which is kind of like, what is the deal with the original source material then? Because, like, is it, like, a monthly, like, 5-pager or something like that?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Also, like, it's not that it's to present. It started in 2017.
Yeah.
How have you got 6 years of material? Like,
yeah,
at some point I would have thought people would have been like, okay, I get it, you know, like I get this shtick now. Like, how many more stories can you come up with where it's just like, you know what, I hate life, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
I think it like all depends on like it's those scenarios. It's like if you can write a scenario for these characters, you're golden, aren't you?
Yeah, I suppose.
And it's like the same way that Kochikame
True.
ran from like, what was it, 1978 or whatever it is till like 2015, 2016, I think.
I often think about stuff like that, you know, when it's like some series you're like, not that I don't like what you do, it's just how have you still got stories to tell, you know? Like, I love Hajime no Ippo, but like it's the fact that it's like there's like 1,000+ chapters and you're like, still boxing, dude. There's only so many times, you know, when you feel like there's only so many times you can want to watch or read. Like, for me, it's different with comedy, because comedy you'll always have a scenario which you can. It takes a writing brain. If you write a scenario and it's a story of the week thing,
easy. But for me, boxing series, like Hajime no Ippo going on for that long, that's where I'm like, wait, what is the like long scenario here? Like if you've got like over 1,000 chapters, over how many decades of work, at what point do you write Ippo as into a corner? Because obviously he's fought so many enemies up until this point, and he must have had so many highs and lows. At what point does the character peak? At what point are there like stronger enemies?
Yeah.
Like if you create a wall for a character, means you have to create another wall for the next arc. That character can't just fight a guy that's the same level as the past one, because you'd be like, well, okay, it's just the same thing and it doesn't feel any stronger. It's the same way with Dragon Ball, you know what I mean? There's a reason why they're fighting gods and stuff now, because they fought gods before and have won, or like pretty much come close. How much further do you go with it, you know what I mean?
Well, that's like you said, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's writing yourself into the corner now. It's like, oh, fuck.
So it's at that point, it's like, okay, what plot devices do you go for? And again, I think it's easier for comedy to have that because you can do story of the weeks. There's no power scaling. There isn't like, oh, he's Uramichi Oniisan isn't overcoming anything. He's the same Uramichi Oniisan. He faces the same daily struggles all the time. It's just he's different in a different scenario now.
See, but that's also like, that's the difficulty I find for comedy series to keep my attention, is because I'm like, well, I know that there isn't ever going to be anything happening, really. Do you know what I mean? Like, there is no goal or something to get to. There's no anything. It's just the day to day.
Yeah.
And there might be some character growth or something, but there's not really an anything. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
We're just doing things. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's fine and all, but like, you know, sometimes when you're like, but do I care enough to just keep going with the day-to-day things?
Absolutely, yeah. It's different kinds of viewership. This is the one thing. I think this is why me and you have very different tastes as well, because I think it's how often can you go back to the same thing which has a different gag or this, and and I feel like this is one thing when it comes down to comedy as well, because I think we've tried a lot of comedy series and it's like, what ones do you vibe with, which ones don't you vibe with? And there's always been a few where you're like, I don't vibe with this because it doesn't feel like it's going anywhere, and this character might be a bit irritating. And it's understandable, because if you're looking for a story which is very plot driven over something that isn't going anywhere and is just a gag, it's going to be different. It's the same way that, like, if you look at TV shows and stuff like that, if you're going to be interested in like a sketch show, you might not be necessarily interested in the latest ITV drama or BBC One drama. They're very different vibes, you know what I mean? And it's always genre preference at the end of the day. And this is what it's always come down to in these kind of things where I recommend comedy, or like, it's just it is literally just genre preferences with us two. That's it.
Yeah.
But like, in terms of the comedies that I've recommended to you and stuff like that over time, out of like all of them, would you say this is one of your favorites, or would you be like, I'm not sure?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Maybe I've just watched it at the right time, like you said earlier. You know, like, they're in their 30s, I'm in my 30s. They're having a depressing time. Life is a depressing time right now. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like the parallels are there, so I'm kind of like,
it's the relatability of it.
maybe this is the perfect storm of like, yes, I would obviously enjoy this, because this is just, I think it's in the same way that, like, when Agretsuko came out, lots of people our age got into it because like we were in that age range. And I feel like that's why I like this comedy more than some of the other ones, is because even though this is like still, you know, your basic structures, I think it is just because I relate more to the characters. Like, yeah, life is kind of dead end right now. Isn't it? Like, you got to keep plugging along and just doing your thing, man.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's one of those, and arguably maybe like what we mentioned about Agretsuko as well, is that like at a time you relate to that character quite a bit, but like in the later seasons of Agretsuko, I'm like, did I vibe with that series as much as previous ones?
Yeah, but I mean, that's because they're now doing like idol stuff and like politics and stuff, where you're like, I'm not doing any of that shit.
That's it's one of those ones where it's a little bit different to season one and stuff like that.
Yeah, you know, like back when it was just like simple, like, oh, I got my first big job, and now it's like office politics and stuff.
Office work, yeah.
That's stuff we will deal with and stuff we are dealing with. But like, yeah, again, like, oh, become an underground idol and stuff is like, yeah, neither Pepe or I are about to go out and become an underground idol.
Yeah, and it's also the fact that like the story there kind of just wasn't like I don't know. I did quite like season 2 of Agretzko because that's where all the idol stuff kind of kicked off, didn't it?
Mm.
And then like season 3 and 4, I don't remember much at all about it really. Especially like we did a whole episode in there, which is not our favorite.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, maybe it is more relatable, which is why I like it. And arguably the self-deprecating humor always gets me. So it is it's
I
always gonna be
mean,
one
we
of
are
those things.
Brits. It's kind of ingrained in us, like self-deprecation.
Yeah.
I think that's the other thing that, like, why I would recommend, because I feel like it's the self-deprecation stuff, like, you know, on the surface, as far as we know, is like not very common Japanese practice. At least not to that degree.
Yeah, you don't see many comedy series like it. You get like certain characters in a series which are like it, but with this series, pretty much
Everybody.
all of the
Yeah.
the main cast of that show are all quite self-deprecating characters. Like Usahara's like a little bit goofy more than anything, gets like chewed out by Uramichi quite a bit, and you have Ikateru, who's like they've all got their own quirks as well. They're not just the same character. You got a lot of different personalities there, not just in those 5, but also with the director and all the merchandise guy and whoever other characters there are.
Yeah, like the writer and stuff.
Yeah, there's all sorts there. So I think there's like, again, 13 episodes is a right amount for a first series, and hopefully we'll get a second series at some point. I can't imagine it will be anytime soon, but
I don't want to say never, because never say never.
yeah.
But, like, I mean, it's been 4 years.
I always put it down to this because Devil is a Part-Timer, which is a novel series, bear in mind. That got made in 2013, 2014, and didn't get a second series until 2022, 2023.
Like I said, I don't want to say never, but, you know, it's just...
It's possible.
There are quite a lot of series that, like, will not.
Yeah, it's true. There's a lot of series which don't get a second season. It's like, and I've been pretty sure we could come up with a whole list of things that we'd love to get a second series for.
Probably. I mean, your list would definitely be longer than mine.
Yeah.
Only because you've watched more anime than me, you know?
That is true. Yeah, that's true. Certain ones get like you have to read the manga to get the sequel of it, and arguably it's a tough one because this one isn't really accessible for a manga here either. Like I've never seen volumes of this in shops or anything in the UK.
No, but I feel like over here in the UK, you only get like the big things. You know, like...
Yes, yeah. If it gets popular,
it will be mostly your Shonen Jumps, or like it's huge online. Like if it has a manga, then we'll get the volumes.
Yeah.
But even then, it's like, you know, you have to be making the waves.
With Shueisha and Jump, like they've become such a massive entity in themselves that like almost guarantee anything that is in Weekly Jump is like if it gets past 2 or 3 volumes, is more than likely gonna get published over here.
Yeah.
Whereas with these smaller publishers, I'm gonna say small because obviously Jump's the biggest one. It's not Shueisha either. Like you're not gonna get this kind of thing often. And I remember seeing like volumes of Devil is a Part-Timer in stores, like 5 years after the anime finished. I was like, oh my god, I can continue. And then getting the first volume where the anime left off, and I was like, this doesn't have the same vibe to it. Something about it wasn't. That probably is because it was from the novel it was like a manga adaptation of the novel.
Yeah.
So those don't always hit the same as like the anime, I feel.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an adaptation thing.
When like everything becomes an adaptation because it was originally a book. It's just like, oh, here's our version of their version of their version.
Yeah. And then at that point, when the anime comes out, you've got 3 different versions of it to get, and you're like, oh, okay.
At least it doesn't go too many layers deep, you know, like, oh, here's the manga version of the book, but then here's the manga version of the anime.
God, that'd be... What even, I mean, could happen. I don't know if the demand...
I'm sure it has happened.
Yeah, the demand for it probably isn't huge.
But you know what I mean? Like, at least it's not going, like, so many layers deep that you're just like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their own interpretation, like...
Right. Is there anything else we want to say about the series? Mention.
Nothing besides like I would actually recommend it.
Yeah, there we go.
You know, like Pepe said, watch it in stints.
Yeah.
Don't try and like binge it, but if you are gonna binge it, like maybe have it on in the background.
Yeah.
Pepe seems to like the dub. I like the sub. I think it's fine.
I'm kind of curious to actually try the sub of it, actually, because I've never watched the sub of it. I think because I have to pay attention to it, arguably. But like, because that's one thing with the dub, because it's a comedy, you can kind of go in and out.
Yeah.
I will say they do actually dub some of the songs as well.
Oh.
What is weird though is that I think they do it up to a certain point,
Oh, okay.
and then they start subbing them again. So I don't know whether this is what I was going to bring up, actually. I wasn't sure if it was a lyrical issue, because imagine writing a song that is the same subject as those ones
Yeah.
and trying to write it to the tune of of something that's already written. I can't imagine that's an easy job at all.
Sometimes just translation in general is quite difficult.
Yeah, like
If you translate the word to a different meaning in
Yeah.
English, like it can also lose.
and arguably I imagine the sub probably has like a few different gags to the dub, because obviously
Maybe.
subbing and dubbing is a completely different thing. Sometimes you gotta make it work for what is there, and that's like there's layers to it. And arguably getting the dub here, I'm quite surprised it did. And even dubbing the songs must have been hard.
In a way, I'm kind of surprised it has a dub.
Yeah.
Some things they just don't get dub. We ain't dubbing it. You can watch it in Japanese.
I sometimes think back to that random anime review we did of Okitsura,
Oh yeah.
and I always wonder if they ever did a dub for that one, because that would have.
I haven't checked. I actually went back and watched all of the episodes.
Oh, did you?
I obviously just watched it in sub because I was like, well, I want to hear the dialect.
Yeah, because it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I might have to go check that. I didn't think about that.
I might check it out as well. Yeah. But yeah, I guess if you got not much else to say, Nathan, on this, are you anything else? Last thoughts?
I'm glad I don't have to listen to ABC anymore.
Do you not like it?
I just heard it a lot before I watched the series.
Yeah.
And obviously watching the series, I'm just like, I don't need to hear any more ABC, 1, 2, 3. I'm done. I'm done. I'm out. Before I watched it, it was the most random thing I heard on our playlist.
Yes,
and I heard
I
it
can
a
imagine.
lot because it just kept coming up. And now I have context. I'm still like, it's still a random song.
Yeah.
That I'm just like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it anymore.
And now you know the context for it.
It doesn't make it any better.
Well, I didn't mind it so much. The ending's not that great. I didn't find the ending that much.
No, it is not.
Yeah, it's a typical like slow anime ending. So I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But yes, as Nathan has already said, I would 100% recommend it. If Nathan recommends it as a comedy, I feel like, hey, there's something out there. It's doable. If you guys have watched Life Lessons with Uramichi and Oniisan, let us know in the comments. Is there a manga that I can read? Let me know. I'd like to carry it on. And thank you for listening, guys. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit that remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell button for future Culture Boys videos. Check the links in our description. We have all our podcast platforms down there. And we will see you guys next time for another Cultured Boys episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.